Factorial notation. The obvious question which comes to our mind is this: what is a factorial notation? Okay, it is a notation which is used to represent the product of natural numbers. Okay, now consider an example. That is, we proceed with a practical condition, and it is like this: that if we have to represent the product of three numbers, then we can write as equal to 1 into 2 into 3. No problem. If we have to write the product of 5 numbers, then we can write 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. And if we have to write the product of 100 numbers, then we can write 1 into 3 into so on up to 100. Okay. So this is the way we represent the product of numbers. Okay. But if we have to frequently or we have to represent in a question many times the product of number, then this will become a very difficult or a very lengthy way to write the product of natural numbers. Okay, so to make a thing little bit easier in such circumstances, we have developed factorial notation. Okay, now factorial is represented like this. This is read as n factorial, or it can be written like this. It is also read as n factorial. Both means one and the same. N inside a short division sign or n with an exclamatory sign represents n factorial. And in this case, n is a natural numbers. N is a natural number. Okay, and it should be noted here that factorial is applicable for natural numbers as well as whole numbers. Okay, this means that it is not applicable for fractional quantity. We cannot calculate the factorial of a fractional quantity or a negative quantity. So this simply means that it does not exist. That is, its value cannot be calculated. It is a non-existing value. Okay, so n factorial, what do we mean by n factorial? N factorial is equal to product of first and natural numbers. So n factorial is equal to 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into up to the last number n. Okay. So 5, if we write 5 factorial, this means 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So this value which we have written above, this will be equal to 100 factorial, or like this. Okay. But coming to one more point, we know that the whole number contains 0. So what is the value of 0 factorial? 0 factorial cannot be represented as a product of natural numbers. Okay. So, and 0 factorial by default, or anyone can say that 0 factorial is equal to 0, because if we calculate 1 factorial is 1, so 0 factorial will be 0. But it is not. 0 factorial is defined as equal to 1. Okay. And we shall also prove this result that 0 factorial is also 1. So actually, we cannot calculate 0 factorial by applying the definition of factorial notation, that it is by applying the definition of factorial that n factorial is a product of first and natural numbers. We cannot apply this condition, but we have defined 0 factorial is equal to 1. So by definition, 0 factorial is equal to 1. Hence, n factorial is applicable for natural numbers as well as whole numbers. Okay. Okay, now we are going to talk about this result related to factorial notation, is that n factorial can be written as n into n minus 1 factorial. Okay. This can be further written as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 factorial. This can be further written as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into n minus 3 factorial. And we have to keep in mind that if we are going to expand n factorial like this, then n should be such that the factorial term, that is these terms, should not become negative. That is, if we write n minus 2 factorial, so n should be greater than or equal to 2. If we write n minus 3 factorial, n should be greater than or equal to 3. Okay. So how we are going to apply this result? It is like this, that we can write 10 factorial as equal to 10 into 9 factorial. Okay. Further, this can be written as 10 into 9 into 8 factorial, and further this can be written as 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 factorial. So how can this result be possible, or this result be possible? So what is the logic behind this? So the logic is this, that 10 factorial is equal to 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay. So if we take the product of number from 10, this will be equal to 10 factorial. If we take product of number from 9, this will be equal to 10 into 9 factorial. If we take the product of number from 8, then this can be written as 10 into 9 into 8 factorial, and so on. So this is the logic. So the basic formula which we have to remember is this, that n factorial can be written as n into n minus 1 factorial. Okay. N factorial is equal to n into n minus 1 factorial. Okay. So this result have some uses, and I am going to use it to solve this value. 15 factorial upon 12 factorial. Okay. So to solve it in a very proper way, that is, it should be such that I do proper calculation. Actually, it is an oral problem. It can be done in a very simple, it is a very easy problem. Okay, but if I have to do in systematic way, I can write 15 factorial as 15 into 14 into 13 into 12 factorial upon 12 factorial by using this result. Okay, and this 12 factorial, 10 factorial cancel out. So 15 factorial upon 12 factorial will be equal to product of these numbers. Okay, so this is the use of this result. Now we are going to prove that 0 factorial is equal to 1. Okay, now we have actually defined that 0 factorial is equal to 1, but now we are going to prove it also. So the previous result was like this, that n factorial can be written as n into n minus 1 factorial. Okay, n factorial is equal to n into n minus 1 factorial. Now in this, if we place n is equal to 1, that is, we are going to substitute n is equal to 1. So I am going to get 1 factorial as equal to 1 into 1 minus 1 factorial. Okay, so 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 factorial is equal to 1. So 1 is equal to 0 factorial. Okay, so this proves that 0 factorial is equal to 1. Okay.